Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hello, everybody! Whoa, hey, ho. Good evening, and welcome to TrekChatz, a Star Trek podcast hosted by two Trekkies who've never watched Star Trek before. My name is Allen, and I'm joined by a mysterious gas cloud that I may also be in love with. It's Magellan.
You can hear my thoughts? That's amazing. So, yeah, you've been leaving the cabinets open after you get stuff out of them, and I wasn't going to make a big deal of it. But now that I can speak to you, I figure maybe it's a good time just to sort of share that.
Diabolical. Oh, boy. Magellan, we're here, back in TrekChatz world.
We are.
What's new and
We're
different
back.
in your life, in your situation, in your spaceship of the mind since the last TrekChatz?
Well, since the last TrekChatz, I've gotten engaged.
Woohoo! Cheers to that. This
I'm
episode was
good.
not sponsored by Canada Dry Zero Sugar, although please sponsor me, Zero Sugar soda companies. I am obsessed.
Engaged. We've got
Congrats.
some new kittens on the pod here also. Amanda and I are fostering some new kittens as of yesterday.
Nice.
And I unsuccessfully advocated to name them Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
You tried.
She
You tried.
said no, which is fair. But they're here. You might see them climbing on me.
That's the best thing
throughout
about
the episode.
foster kittens is because they're fosters, right?
Yeah.
Is the names can be short term, right? They're just whatever you want, like right now. So they can just be whatever you're currently fixating on or enjoying, and then tomorrow they could be Homer, Owe, and Steve.
Right, exactly.
Prairie. Prairie's a good name for a cat, actually. Hold on.
Ooh,
Ah.
Prairie. So what Star Trek thing is what's his name? Jason Isaacs. My brain was like Jacob Oscar Isaacs. Jason Isaacs. I saw some gif of him in a Star Trek. What is that?
He's in Star Trek Discovery.
Discovery, okay.
He's an interesting character in that show.
Okay.
I know I think when Ryan was on Chatz Away, we were like, and then Jason, something, Jason. We were talking about Star Trek Discovery, but we're gonna watch that show someday, so I won't give you any more of that.
Okay, sounds good.
Fantastic. Yeah, I miss COA. I've been thinking about it, but I'm also excited to talk about Star Trek because we have some very interesting episodes this time.
Oh yeah.
We are talking season 2, episode 1 of Star Trek: The Original Series. For those who don't know, we're going through halves of seasons every month or so. That's, in the case of 2S, about 13 episodes per pod. And we are going to go down them and quickly summarize them and give ourselves just a few minutes with thoughts. And then we're going to put them on a tier list with the rest of the episodes of the series. And we did this for all of TNG. Then we did it for DS9. And then we're now going back to TOS. Back to New York. I went back to New York. When will I stop making Hamilton references on the pod? We may never know. I thought I could fit one more in there, but I couldn't think of one. Anyways, this is season 2, part 1, which starts with Amok Time and ends with, what's the episode called? Obsession, which is also the name of my favorite cologne, probably. John, the show, I feel, has kind of settled into a groove here in season 2.
Yeah.
Just like your cat is trying to settle a groove into your microphone cord there, your headphone cord. Pretty sick. How did you feel about season 2, part 1?
So something I noticed when I was watching this on the website
Streaming
where
service
this stuff is streaming is, and I don't know if they do this for TNG, and I just like maybe this is a recent change for all Star Trek or what, but when it lists the episodes, the default listing it is like iconic episodes or something like that. By default, it doesn't give you the list of
Yeah.
all of them.
You're right.
And it starts with like episode 29 of season 1 or something.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, and now we've got a bunch starting in season 2.
Uh-huh.
And it felt a little bit like that watching this chunk where every other episode or couple episodes something would happen where you'd be like, oh my god, wait a minute, I've seen this done in like a Simpsons episode or referenced in other things. I don't even know how I know this, but I know of this scene or moment or concept.
Mm-hmm.
And then they intersperse those with just like dumb like kind of the same old song and dance from season 1. They have like 2 or 3 kind of like standard episode ideas or outlines that they're doing. So it's an interesting mix. And like that's a kind of a surprising level of settled into its groove for the beginning of a second season. But you're right that it really feels like, oh, okay, now they kind of figured it out,
Yes.
whatever it is they want to do with this show. And I think that, like, for better and for worse, because they're doing some things here that are really confident and interesting, and they're doing some things where it's like, well, guys, you did this episode last season, so
Totally.
let's like do something a little bit different. But what did you think about the first half of season 2?
Yeah, once again, we have to confuse the robots to make their heads explode. Same exact
Yes.
shit. And I kind of like it every time. Totally get what you're saying. It kind of feels like there are like the memorable episodes, and then there are the rest.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying my best to get into the groove of TOS now, and I feel like I'm also starting to appreciate its little moments more, and think of it less as a sci-fi show and more as like a late night sitcom or a hangout show that happens to have these storylines that I do or don't always care about. Like, I'm coming for the character work of our main 3, and then I'm sometimes staying for like interesting sci-fi plots. That's like a really weird modality to enjoy Star Trek in for me, and that's why I'm not used to that yet, but I don't dislike that. It's just very different from what we're used to. But like,
Right.
Everybody seems really settled into who they are this in these chunk of episodes, to the point where I think even some of them are like borderline like into the things that people parody. Like, there is an episode.
Oh yeah.
There's an episode here where I think Bones says "I'm a blank, not a blank" like 8 times in one episode.
Multiple times. Yeah.
And I was like, "What? Did we run out of jokes to write for Bones?" Like, DeForest Kelly is very funny and like has range. He can do more than just this bit. And I think they also trap them. It's so funny that we watch TNG and we're like, man, there's hardly any off-ship episodes. It's always like on-ship. I would love an off-ship episode. And TOS is the complete opposite, which probably makes sense. They wanted to like tell stories on the ship because their predecessor did the opposite. Every time we go off planet, I'm like, can we just lock in, guys? Just focus and tell the story and let the characters sing. But they have to spend so much time being like, okay, here's a new race. Here's their deal. We have to see why things are working. Then we have to see why things are a little bit effed up. And then we're going to fix the problem. And that will take 20 minutes at the end. And it's just like, it's plotting. It's plotting. You can't tell me it's not. I know it's the 60s. The TV standards are different. When the character stuff works, it sings. The show is great. When it's not there and it's in service of like the same 4 or 5 sci-fi plots that we've seen a million times, I am sleepy. That's my take.
Yeah, and I'm trying to kind of position myself in the mode of what must have been like to write television for watching TV in the 60s, where it feels like there is, whether or not it has to be this way or it truly is beneficial to the storytelling, there's this like reasonable belief that, okay, we need every character to kind of like say what their deal is so that the audience can understand what's going on, because you really can't be certain of anything that the audience has or has not seen prior to the episode that they're watching. But then for us, it leads to a lot of Spock being like, well, Captain, as you know, I like to think logically, and this is not logical. It's like you wouldn't talk like that, bro.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Yeah, you're talking about like trying to understand it from the perspective of the writer, and I'm doing my best to watch the show as a viewer at the time, like a family in the 60s, and sometimes an episode's for the kids, sometimes it's for dad, sometimes it's for mom. We get a couple more stories about like women with agency in these episodes, and I was like, oh, we're getting somewhere. Not where I would consider to be modern or like acceptable by modern standards, but that's not what the show is. And just like sitting down after dinner and like, let's put on Star Trek, let's put on the old serial and see what they're going to tell us this week. That mindset, I think, has helped me enjoy the show a lot more. Just like pretend you're in it, pretend you're in the 60s. So I do have a new gimmick for TrekChatz this week. I have a new soundboard. We famously like to go long on TrekChatz because we're talking about 13 episodes of TV. We like, it's almost impossible not to go a little long. So my challenge for us is from the start of an episode discussion to the end, if we can try to take no more than 10 minutes per episode, because I think that puts us at like 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is like pretty sufficient to me. If we go over, it's fine, but I'm just so my timer will be represented by the following sound effect.
Oh, okay.
We got the boatswain's whistle. Boatswain? I can never. Yeah. Bosun call or boatswain's call, depending on who you ask.
Bosun.
So I'll play it when we start an episode discussion, and then I'll do it at the 10-minute mark if that's okay with you, Michelle.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Should we get into our first discussion?
Let's do it.
So we've got Amok Time, which is a very famous episode for introducing a lot of Spock's backstory, mainly the farr, which is an illness that affects males of his race, and it's this sort of hunger, this like lust sickness that can only be relieved by going back home and either like procreating with your mate or engaging in deadly combat. And so Spock is going through this, and Kirk, and trying to be a supportive boyfriend, is like, well, we can go home, but I want you. But Spock reveals that he has a wife back home named T'Pring, who is the daughter of royalty, her mother being T'Pau, one of the heads of Vulcan culture. And when they land, we basically have this whole like back and forth of, we can't let him stay here. We need him on the ship, and that doesn't seem fair. Okay, well then he has to fight one of you guys. Kirk offers to die. He actually fights him, but then he takes a drink from McCoy that makes it so he won't die, but he'll look dead. And then the kind of comedic background of this is that T'Pring is telling Spock, like, I actually wanted you to die so that I could be with this other man. And that was the whole thing. And Spock's like, well, I didn't, so bye. I'm going to go back to my ship now, and everyone's fine. What did you think of the famous episode of TOS, Amok Time?
This, was kind of the first example in the season of, okay, this episode, there's stuff going on here. Whoa, it's this scene. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
With the big things, and it's red sky. Whoa, Spock, don't kill me. And that scene rips. Like, that's still really fun.
Yeah.
The
we're fighting music, yeah,
the we're fighting music is good. And yeah, I love the intimacy throughout all of Star Trek. TOS is simultaneously heterosexual propaganda and queer propaganda every minute of all the time.
It's so real though.
And this episode and many of the episodes, I felt a kind of like rabid upon farr of my own, just to see Kirk and Spock like fucking consummate this. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? The intimacy between the two of them, when Kirk basically touches his face like, "Hey, talk to me, baby. What's going on? Why are you in such a weird mood?" I love that.
It's romantic as fuck.
Yeah.
I'll die for you, baby. That's what he says.
Yeah.
There's a lot of romantic stuff in this one. Chapel is like, Spock, I'm so sad that you have to leave. I kind of had a thing with you. We bring back the Chapel steaminess. T'Pring and Spock have like a weird, like, they love these sort of 60s sitcom relationships where either the woman is like, I love you and I would do anything, or like, I kind of hate you. And he's like, and that's what I love about you. It's like, we can't just have two people love each other mutually and have it be fine. One person has to be like, it has to be tsundere all the time. I think that my other thing is, I was talking earlier about like, it's a hangout show that sometimes has lore, sometimes has backstory stuff. They care a lot about Vulcans in TOS.
Yes, they do.
They care a lot about Vulcan physiology and culture and religion. And we're definitely going to be talking about religion tonight. And it feels like Spock and the Spock / Vulcan storylines always get the most play in TOS because he's on our ship. He's the guy we care about. And by depicting this stuff, we make him seem more alien and more interesting, which I think works. We don't get enough of that in the other shows.
Enough of that with Vulcan specifically.
Yeah, and I think that's because we got so much.
Yeah.
Yes, and because we got so much of that in this and in the movies, we don't get Vulcan stuff in the rest of the shows as much.
Yeah, it is making me reflect on the fact that like whoever is in the main ensemble of a Star Trek show, whatever kind of people or peoples they can represent are the peoples that we're going to learn more about. Which then kind of raises the questions of, okay, well, why did we select this group of individuals? Why are we choosing to focus in on them? And I think, like in TNG, it's like, oh, well, Deanna Troi is an empath. The show is more interested in kind of like psychology and emotion and empathy. Oh, we've got Data, who's an android. We're really interested in these questions of like, what does it mean to be human? DS9 lets us do a lot of stuff with the Kira Nerys is a Bajoran. Thank you. Odo with the changeling stuff. And with this episode and some of the other ones, I was thinking like, okay, well, why the Vulcans, right? Like, what is it that Vulcan personhood represents here? And I'm curious what you think about that. Like this part of it is, it's cool to have an alien species and be like, they have this ritual and they have green blood. Whoa, my gosh. But there seems to be something about like, it's this people who's like, we're logical to the point of like deeply, deeply, deeply suppressing any sort of emotion. And we're really interested in exploring the ramifications of that. Yeah, I'm curious what you make of that, or like, why do we care so much about Vulcans in TOS?
I think if I'm being not so generous, like, or not so progressively generous, the equivalent to this is having a Western show where they have a Native American character, and every episode, every couple episodes, they're like, "Oh, my Native American blood means this," and so they're othering Spock on purpose because it's interesting and quirky to have an other on our ship. And in this show, sometimes it feels like the way that Bones says it, where he's like, "Ha, you freaking weirdo, you devil man." He basically calls him the devil or like a descendant of the devil many times in this season. In later Trek shows, though, they like curve that into a deep empathy for people who are different, right? Like that's what Worf's storyline is. Like, we know you're different and we respect you for that difference. Here it's like, we know you're different and we think that's really interesting. I just want to shine a light on that. I'm not going to say anything good or bad about it, but I want to highlight that and like in a way the show is making a point that like Kirk is not just going, well, this this stuff is all stupid. I'm just gonna leave Spock on the planet and forget about it. The fact that he's like, no, hold on, this is my dude. Like, this is my homie. In a way, is the show saying we empathize with people who are different. We care about and like value their differences. So I think that's kind of my take on it. I don't know if that answers your question sufficiently.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because a lot of what Spock is here to do is to be like, man, I don't get these humans.
Yeah.
And then for the humans to be like, don't judge us, stand. We are passionate. We give a shit about stuff, and we're gonna fucking go and do the thing because we're human. God damn it.
Yeah.
And they like need a Spock to say that to.
Yeah.
Because there's so many episodes that are like, here's a robot, and characters are like, Spock, I bet you think those robots are pretty smart. You freaking robot. So it's sort of like having this intermediary between the human and we're very interested in like the robot, the mechanized. But then I think part of it is almost like Spock representing sometimes I think Spock represents like what humanity could become.
It's like, okay, the enlightened path.
Like, yeah, we're in this era where science has advanced and we're seeing leaps and bounds of technological achievement, and we might be tempted to be like, okay, let's really kind of like center our progress on this sort of rationality and knowledge and logic. And there are things that are good about that. Like, that's not a universally negative thing. But there are trade-offs to that. Like, we lose something in the process of doing that, or it becomes like harder to access certain things. So I think that's part of like what Spock is here to explore too, is sort of like, whoa. What do we alienate ourselves from,
right,
when we kind of lean into this vision of social progress?
Very well said. Final thoughts on the Muck time?
And the thing we alienate ourselves from is fucking.
Yeah, let Spock fuck. Let Spock fuck. That's what I think is the cat gets it. Cats absolutely get it.
Say it. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I gotcha.
What are we rating a Muck time?
I think it's an A. It's an iconic episode. I think it earns it. It's fun. We didn't mention it, but Chekov's here.
Yeah, well, I have a lot to say about Chekov as we move on.
Yeah.
He's introduced here though with his fuck ass wig. Walter Koenig is here. It's so funny to me to start with Babylon 5 and then watch Star Trek and be like,
yeah,
you guys have a telepath in here, man. You guys have an evil man. Do you not know?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's just Chekov. It's the equivalent of this show's vodka drunkinsky. It's so good.
Right. Last thing I'll say about Amok Time is T'Pau, who's the Vulcan leader lady, is like the only person in Star Trek history who's like, hey, you showed up here, you're getting roped into our traditions, you don't really understand them, so you could leave if you want to.
Right.
Like, she gives them the option, when usually it's like, you must fight in the Panfar, you fuck. You stepped on our land and you follow our laws. She's like, well, you're not Vulcan. You can go if you want to.
It's fine. That's a very funny situation. I liked T'Pau a lot.
I liked her too, yeah. And I like that Kirk like really wanted to impress her, and he saw the diplomatic benefit. Like, whoa, she's famous. I want her to think that I'm like not a loser, so I'll fight.
Kirk has such a type. Such a type. Okay.
All right.
Let's move on. Yes. It's who mourns for Adonais or Adonais. Did they ever say the name?
Yeah, Adonais sounds good to my ear.
Yeah, so this one's charming and entertaining. Essentially, the Enterprise gets squished by Master Hand from Super Smash Bros. And we both wrote that, by the way. We both separately wrote that, which kicks ass.
Because it's coming to the screen in the same way, like, oh, floaty, coming at you.
And they find out that it is somebody who claims to be the god Adonis, or the god
Apollo,
excuse me. I got the title mixed up with the guy. Apollo, and he's like, oh, my brother's like, they're all gone, and it's sad, but I'm a god and I have all this power, and he's electrocuting people. He electrocutes Chekov like 18 times. It's so sad. It's about power. It's about godhood. I think this episode has a lot to say about religion and spirituality and why we do or don't believe in gods anymore. Because the big reveal at the end is I'm actually just part of an ancient alien race that inspired humanity to conceive of the gods, because we have god-like powers, and then we left, and all of my people died. Tell me if you've heard this before, that he's the last of his race. You ever hear that? And they basically say, like, we should leave him, and they have some... What's the line at the end? Would it have hurt us, I wonder, just to have gathered a few laurel leaves? Thoughtful. We'll talk about that. Thoughts on Who Mourns for Adonais?
Yeah, as you were saying, it introduces a few themes that in some ways are continuations from season 1, but slight variations. I think a really consistent theme across this half season is this question of, like, kind of what price paradise? Like, what would you be willing to trade for comfort, for security? Would you be willing to exist in complacency? Would you be willing to be prisoner? Would you be willing to be a subject to a god, or to a computer, or to an autocrat, or to a lover who doesn't want you to leave, whatever? There are many, many episodes in this stretch where essentially, like, the thing that is bad about a situation is that someone is going to be stuck in it.
Right.
And that in and of itself is, like, enough of a bad that we're gonna oppose it, fight against it. And I really thought it was cool conceptually for them to be like, whoa, who are you? And he's like, I'm Apollo.
Yeah.
I am, like, the Apollo from the myths. I was on Earth. Now I'm here. You found me. I knew you would. I knew you guys would. And now we're gonna like run this back. I'm gonna be your god again. It's gonna be amazing. That is so fun to me. And I like, that's like, I don't know. I don't know what to compare this to, but I like that as a concept that, deities of ancient civilizations existed for real, and they were just super powerful aliens that visited Earth for a time and then left. There are ways that the episode then actually plays out that are annoying in ways that many of these episodes are to me.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of like, check your watch. How long did it take for them to bring in a woman who's like a beautiful woman who's talking like this? And I don't know. I'm just not sure. I'm a woman, and sure, I have a PhD, but I can't seem to remember that when you put me in a nice dress. Like all that stuff, I'm not so into
and then
that.
She can't control her emotions in the last crucial moment. They're like, we just need you to control your emotions. And she's like, it's so hard because I love Apollo, but I guess I can tell him he looks like a science experiment to make him really sad. Damn.
And they do have some moments where, like, then these female characters, her name's Carolyn in this episode. What'd you say?
Lieutenant Palamas. Carolyn Palamas.
Like, Carolyn does help because she's like, oh, Apollo, come on, I'm an academic. I was here to study you.
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, this is great. I wish that it wasn't canonically the case that when she's saying this, she is lying to him. I want her to actually, believe in a thing and have an interest and a passion in life, other than like, oh my God, this guy is hot. And then you got Scotty in the corner like, no, Captain, she's gonna she's gonna have sex with a Greek god. Ah, no, Captain. It's dumb, man. It's
Wow. I didn't know you
dumb.
had a pocket Scotty. You really are cooking the Scottish way over there. Sheesh. I think that this episode has, like I said, really interesting things to say about religion and like why we believe in things, because these aliens subsist on worship and love. And so he's like, I just need to keep you guys here to worship me, and I'll give you everything you want. And they're like, that's not freedom, that's idolatry. And so the show is like, you know, we've talked about like, is it waspy of Star Trek to constantly be like, there's a right way to worship God and there's a right way to be religious, and the other ways are wrong and evil, and worship has to involve suffering. And we'll talk more about that later, because Kirk does have a couple monologues this season that are like, it's not a life worth living if it's not hard. And I fundamentally, as we said last time, just disagree with that. But with Apollo, it's like, I want to decide to worship you. You're forcing me to worship you. And Carolyn is the example of like, no, I actually believe in what he's saying and like want to be with him out of love. And is it fair? Is it not sad of us to take that from her and be like, I need you to lie to the person you love? And but it's also, like you said, like, do you really love a man that you met like an hour ago? Like love? Love? Okay. That's where I can hand wave that as being TV and accept that, like, yes, this is real for her. But yeah, I think Star Trek does truly think that religion is good, faith is good, but only if like done by choice and done in a way that like enhances your moral fiber, not like consumes your life. It doesn't believe in religious zealotry or idolatry.
Right. Well, and it's funny to me because and you know, this is coming from somebody who is agnostic on my kind of like more teddy bear days. Because Kirk has the line where he's like, humanity has no need for gods, just the one is good enough, or something like that.
Yeah.
So he basically says like, Christian monotheism is correct. Turns to the camera, go to church. And it's just funny to me because he's the one who's like, Bones, isn't it interesting that like the Greek gods were aliens? That's weird. But he doesn't stop to consider maybe that's true of like Jesus for all we know, or whatever. Like if this is true, that could be true too. So it is strange to me. And then also for their issue with like the Greek gods to be, oh, you're gonna be all tyrannical, and yet like, what is monotheism if not monarchical, right? Like that is fundamentally what it is. If you were to directly translate it to a political system where like God is a real life entity body that exists and rules over the world. So there's like a dissonance there that is funny to me.
Yeah.
But
any other thoughts or notes? Good tan.
Carolyn is an A&A officer, archaeology and anthropology. That's fun.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you were saying earlier, it's always a woman with like some special unique degree that you're like, what is that? I want to hear about that. And the unique degree is just an excuse for them to be on there and be like, like, okay.
At least like it makes sense that somebody who's this like archaeology, anthropology expert would be like, oh my God, you're really Apollo? I'm fascinated by you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, tell that story. At least frickin' the lady who fell in love with Khan is like, my hobby is I paint Napoleon, and you're the next Napoleon, so let me paint you. Like, that sucked, but there was at least a little bit of like, she is interested in something, and that is why. But with Carolyn, it's like, well, he put her in a nice dress, and he's got a nice chest. And what else do you need? But anyway, I do like Kirk. Oh, last thing. Beep boop. When he's trying to convince Carolyn, like, hey, we gotta fight against Apollo. he has this really nice monologue about like being a part of humanity as a collective,
Yeah.
and he's talking about being in space, and it's like the vast nothingness of space. He says the only thing that's truly yours is the rest of humanity, and that's where your duty lies.
Yeah.
That was cool.
They always give Kirk the good monologues.
Yeah, they do.
Did you know this episode is featured in the movie X-Men Apocalypse?
Whoa, why?
Gods. I'm a god. Apocalypse being like, I'm a god who came here to fix Earth. I'm an alien who actually has the powers of a god. Like, it's just in the background of the movie at some point. And it made me think that this episode is kind of the blueprint for stuff like Thanos, for stuff like Apocalypse, like all these comic villains who are like, I have the powers of a god and people should worship me just because I have that power.
Yeah.
So there's something there. I think this episode ends up being a B for me because it's like kind of boring and weirdly written and paced, but like the idea is so good. It's such a good idea. I can't give it less than that.
Agreed.
Okay. Shall we move on, my friend?
Let's do it.
It's 203, the Changeling. You know, the one, not that Changeling, the Changeling before we knew what a Changeling was. In this case, it's a robot or a space probe originally launched from Earth that fused with an alien thing and became this like super robot. And it's got these little thumbtacks for a head, or for like for ears, if you want to call them that. And it tries to give everybody everything they want. It can heal people. It can do magic. It's awesome. Except it also comes from an alien that believed in like sterilizing other like lesser races. So it's also a genocide robot. Magellan, having just listened to myself listening to a podcast about KOTOR 2, this guy is a KOTOR 2 companion. This is HK47.
Yes, 100%.
And that's my thing is like the Changeling is kind of an okay episode that's just been done so much before and after TOS that I'm like, this is another one of those. It is a okay one of those, but it is certainly one of those. What did you think?
I enjoyed this one. It made me think about, I love the concept of, okay, this robot, this program was made for a certain purpose, and then nobody considered, well, what if this just kind of like continues to live or exists outside of its initial context or whatever. And there's a few episodes in this chunk that are kind of asking that question of, okay, humanity, with all this technology, we're starting to build stuff that's probably going to outlive us by quite a long time.
Yes.
And maybe we should think about that. It made me think about do you know the game Universal Paperclips?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. So it's like a point and click, or not even point and click, like a clicky kind of on the internet game, where you played an AI whose only directive was to produce paper clips. And if you exponentially are producing more and more paper clips, like consuming the earth, and then eventually all of the universe, turning it all into paper clips.
Correct.
And this episode kind of plays with a similar concept where you have this probe that's like, well, I'm here to, purify. And nobody kind of put a limit on what that means. And then even more interestingly, it turns out that it's like two probes smashed into each other and their programming got all confused.
Yeah.
And the original probe was just like, go find life. And this other probe is like, go purify land so we can plant on it. And they met and were like, purify all life, destroy.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun little sci-fi concept that, of course, gets resolved with like, probe. Everything I say is the truth, but everything I say is a lie. And don't you think the truth and lie. Oh no.
Well, Well, the everything is a lie, I'm lying is later. This is the one where it's like, destroy what is imperfect. You fucked up. That means you're imperfect. And he's like, you're right. It is like he gets it in a logical loop and it blows himself up. That specific version of it though is later this season. I love it though. I love the you fucked up and Nomad. The name of the robot is like,
Nomad.
Fucked up. And you kill things that fuck up. I kill things that fuck up. So and it goes killing self. Essentially, not exactly essentially. Two interesting things I liked in this one, or thought were interesting. Interesting things I thought were interesting. Yep, got that exactly how I wanted to say it. Uhura gets her mind wiped. What's going on? It's because she's singing, and then it's like, what is that? And she's like, I'm singing, and he's like, that singing is impure. I'm probing your mind. Erase her memory. And she has to relearn how to be a human, and we don't really like fix that. We're just like, we're gonna train her how to be normal again.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, we got it. Nurse Chapel's like, I can do that. I can tutor her on the weekends. She's up to a first grade reading level. What are you talking about? Okay, sure. She's in there watching Bluey, I wrote.
Yeah.
Because she's reading a sentence that says the ball is blue, but she says the ball is bluey.
Bluey? I have the screenshot right here on my phone. Oh, that's not gonna load. That's never gonna load. It's on the It's on the Chatz Discord. Just look up Bluey. Or go to the Chatz Discord.
It is pretty fun that she speaks Swahili in this scene.
Yes, that part's fun.
Any moment where Nichelle Nichols is speaking Swahili is pretty fun.
So good. So good. I forget what the other big one was.
Well, Scotty dies, and then it's like, oh, just kidding. I can bring him back to life.
He's barely a character, and they're just like, yeah, we can kill him. But then also, he's not dead. It's okay.
We got a good he's dead Jim.
Yep.
Out of that.
I think we already got the original he's dead Jim for the first one. But
we learned that Spock can mind meld with computers, I guess.
Okay, TOS loves to do stuff that breaks its own canon. It loves it, and I love that they do it because this stupid moment where they're like, how can we get into the mind of Nomad? Well, I can just mind meld with it. This means that now robots can mind meld with Vulcans, and Vulcans can mind meld with with artificial life. This is them drawing the line. It doesn't have to be alive for Spock to mind meld with it. I'm fine with that. I think it's a little silly, but sure. If we are to believe that everything has some sort of consciousness or personality or thought, everything on the world.
Like, what is a mind, right?
Yes, then yes, Spock can mind meld with anything, including a robot. Yeah. It makes interesting stories.
Yeah, and that scene was cool.
Yeah, it was a cool scene. Where he like gets taken over by it, and then Kirk has to be like, you're in Spock's brain, stop taking over Spock's brain.
Yeah.
That was kind of scary. Sometimes the show can actually be scary. We still have 3 minutes. So what else you got?
Nah.
You want
my one last thing is when Nomad's going around, sometimes they do this shot really briefly where the camera's like mounted to the back of Nomad.
Yes.
And it's almost like a West Wing walk and talk with the robot.
Oh my god.
It's fun. But yeah, it's a good one. I don't know, like A or B, maybe.
I think it's fun enough to be an A. I think it's really fun.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I'm just having this
good one of these.
I'm curdling. It's curdling. It's dissolving. This thought of Star Trek West Wing. Aaron Sorkin Star Trek. Oh god, my brain really wants that to be real, and I know I shouldn't think that. I'm manifesting it. Quick, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're free. Next up is Mirror Mirror. I'll hit the timer now. This is episode 4 of season 2. This one's huge. It's the introduction. Speaking of, we can do whatever the fuck we want. It's the introduction of the Mirror Universe. And we go through a teleporter in a weird place, and it leads to people from that universe going to ours and vice versa. In the Mirror Universe, we already know this from DS9. It's the Terran Empire. We're fascist, explicitly, not implicitly. And bad people have goatee. Spock has a goatee. Kirk is a warmonger. Instead of helping a race give them access to dilithium crystals, they steal them and threaten to blow that race up. if your name is Sulu, then you're a salacious, gross, horny man. If you're a man, you're horny. If you're a woman, you're subservient. Unless you're that one woman, what's her name? Marlena. We're gonna talk about Marlena. That she's a whole thing. The captain's woman. The concept of a captain's woman existing in the Mirrors universe is insane. And there's some really funny wrap up stuff, like how do we get out of here? Should we just leave Scotty in here? Yeah, just leave Scotty in the Mirror universe. Wait, no, don't leave Scotty in the Mirror universe. Actually, Mirror Spock totally understands this and wants his captain back. Aww, he wants his Mirror Kirk back. And so they do the swap, and everybody's fine. Nobody's mad. No harm done. Mirror, Magellan, go. Hit me with it. Thoughts?
I mean, this is an iconic episode, you know?
Yes.
Like, it even knowing, okay, we're in the Mirror universe, it's still so fun and wacky to see all the differences and how they range from, like, everybody's fully Sig Heiling Captain Kirk. Like, whoa, that keeps happening, all the way down to, like, Spock's got a goatee. It's fun to, like, kind of notice and catch these things and the different terminology for different aspects of the world. And it's also pretty bold of the episode that, like, the Federation and the Empire are in the same place for essentially the same reason. They want the dilithium crystals.
Yeah.
Which I think makes this really great point, because we start the episode where Kirk's like, come on, guys. You saw our tapes. You know that we're chill. And the guys with the dilithium are like, yeah, we know that you're chill, but it's just a good rule to not give these crystals to people.
Yeah.
And then
bad things happen when we give these away.
Right. And then we sidestep to a universe where, like, all the people who we think are cool and good, different things happened, or they were raised in a different environment and they're bad and they would blow stuff up with those crystals. So the episode kind of validates the philosophy of the folks on the planet who are like, I don't know, we're just going to not give our resources to, like, this sprawling space empire. The Federation is an empire. It's just an empire of, like, a different manner or kind. So I think that's pretty bold and cool.
Mind melding to get somebody's to get information, like to confirm information, is an awesome use of mind meld.
Yeah, like the way that it's this, like, non-consensual mind melding is really creepy. Yeah. The how we have to kind of, like, tiptoe around everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they gonna catch on to us? And I love also we're like 30 minutes in, they're like, wait a minute, if we're here, the bad guys are at home. Then we do a kind of cutaway gag to Spock being like, you guys are locked up in there. You're being way too weird. Like, he's got it.
Funny. Handled.
So
the most confident number one of all time. Handled in 5 minutes. He's like, you guys seem weird. You're getting locked up. No, we're not. No, I don't want to talk. No. he's like, this Kirk is interesting. This Kirk's like, I'm gonna bite you. I want to kill you. I want to blow everyone up. And he's like, very. I should talk to my boyfriend about this later. They're in jail. The other part that made me laugh really hard, by the way, was when they all, like, reconvened privately, and Bones and Scotty and Chekov are like, our mirror versions are so mean. Like, they're all like, he's like, all the medical people just take bets on who's gonna die. He's like, the security people just, like, arrest people for no reason. And the engineering's like, the engineering people just, like, put extra shit in the engine to fuck it up on purpose. Like, what the hell? Why are they mean?
Yeah.
It's, like, so harmless.
Yeah. And they're like, everyone is kind of mean and evil to an extent that would just make it impossible for them to function. It feels like this constant, if Chekov can, like, corner you in the elevator and he's hired 3 guys from the commissary to, like, beat you up with him, how are you ever getting anything done on this ship?
Right, there's this implication that everybody fights so much that there's constantly a fight for power. Like, everybody wants Kirk's job. In this world, Spock is like, I would take Kirk's job. I'm probably better at it. Fucking hate him. It's like, yeah, it's nothing can get done. There's no organization to this evil empire.
Yeah.
Speaking of things like that, I kind of want to just hop in the agony booth, like, for fun, just to feel what it would be like. Every time someone does something wrong, the security people would put them in what's called the agony booth, which is just a room that makes you hurt. Just makes you go, ow, 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 quit it.
Yeah, and also instead of phasers, everyone's carrying around agonizers, which
are guns. Which are guns. Or just like pain guns, yeah, like instantly.
Yeah, but it's also like a little pain scarab that you can like stick on someone, and they go, "Oh,
ow, what the fuck?" Should we talk about Marlena?
Yeah, let's talk about Marlena. Let's talk about women. You know, Uhura as well. This episode's really got something it wants to say about women, I guess.
What does it have to say?
I don't know. What did you think of Marlena Moreau?
So her whole thing is like, I think it's cool that you're evil and I want you to be able to do evil stuff, but she doesn't necessarily trust. She assumes like him being weird is part of the relationship. But also we are to understand that Mirror Kirk and Marlena's relationship is like going badly. That's what I found really interesting about her. It's not like you're in a world where you have like 18 girlfriends. It's like you have a girlfriend who kind of you're like not on good terms with. And there's that awkwardness of that. I like that. I thought the performance was quite good, but beyond that, I just thought she was strange. A strange addition to the episode.
Yeah, I think there's something that the episode's trying to get at with like showing us a version of the Enterprise that is more patriarchal and misogynistic and like dangerous for women, like physically dangerous. Just even from the uniforms are more revealing for the female crew members. Sulu's making advances on Uhura, and the chilling detail that he's got this like knife scar on his face to basically show that like he's tried it before and been cut, and he's still like doing this, trying to force himself on her, and she has to fend him off with a knife later in the episode. And I think there's something there about like the characters that we know and like in this like more severely patriarchal society. They're not just gonna spontaneously be good guys. They're gonna kind of like conform to what their society expects of them. And then you have these female characters who are like, well, I have to walk this really fine line between like resisting this and hitching my wagon to like the safest bet. And this guy has a magic box in his bedroom that can kill people. So I'm going to hang out with the guy who's got the death note and just sort of like ride that out to survive. So I don't know. There's something going on there. That's interesting, I think.
I think that's something that the later shows will handle so much better, is like people's agency, women's agency, weaker people, quote unquote, weaker people's agency, less powerful people. And like, how do you assert that in a world where when we say mirror, we mean like everything that seems heroic is not heroic. Like the concept of the mirror universe is like vaguely sketched here and then gets filled in really deeply in, I'd say, Deep Space Nine especially. And seeing like the beta of it, like the setup for it here, oh by the way, is great. I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool sort of draft for what will go on to be one of the more interesting, if sometimes overused, narrative elements in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Now rate it.
That's an S. I mean, it's, you know, it is an iconic episode. I think it's S for sure.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable giving it less. Also, you know, we said this before. Every time I watch an old episode of something that like gets parodied a lot, I'm like, oh, it's like way more normal than the parodies made it out to be. Like one guy has a goatee. Spock has a goatee. That's
yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Community made a whole thing about this.
I've been led to believe, yeah, that every evil version has a goatee, but it really is just Spock.
Yeah, and it's a great goatee. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Call up Charlie XCX because it's time to talk about the apple. In this episode, we're on Gamma Trianguli 6, a planet appearing to be a tropical paradise, except there are plants that can kill you. And, okay, real quickly, we've got a society full of people.
Tell me if you've heard this one before.
We've got things that can kill you. We've got people that worship a god that we don't know how it got its powers from. As long as they feed the god things, everything's fine and idyllic. But there's no suffering. There's no problem. We're ages. We're like essentially immortal. Kirk doesn't like that. He doesn't like the idea of a society with no problems. And this is why we need the Prime Directive is episodes like this. And they introduce the concept of sex and relationships to this society. Is it Chekov who does that?
No. Maybe he's like hanging out with his lady friend.
Yeah. Chekov and Landon go to a place to kiss, and then the other two people are like, "Oh my god, kissing! Whoa!"
Yeah.
That's basically it. They're like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here. This can't be allowed to exist." And then they quote unquote fix it. You guys can live your own lives now.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money to film a Mad Lib, is what this episode feels like.
Say more.
It's just like what you were describing feels like a remix of 5 or 6 episodes from season 1 that already were fine. They were okay. But hostile foliage. It's a Garden of Eden metaphor, I guess. There's a computer who's being worshipped as a god. You guys never heard of sex? You can't age? That's weird. And I don't know, like, what is this one bringing to the table that's different or new? It's kind of just being more explicit about the Garden of Eden as a parable. Yeah. I don't know. And I guess that like, to kind of get back to my point about Spock from earlier, the thing that is maybe intriguing about that thematically is this notion, because you think about the Garden of Eden story, and it's like, okay, that happened. We now have this awareness of our humanity and our existence, and that brings intelligence, and that brings shame, and that brings a kind of like anxious understanding of mortality and complacency and da 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 da. But that's something that has already happened. But in this episode, it's kind of like, well, but maybe we're continuing to leave the garden. We're continuing to eat the apple. And what do we make of that? Like, is it not eating the apple again to like send a man to the moon? Or something like that.
We are seeking worlds like this. Who are we to say like we can't have this destroy this happiness if like all we ever do, all the Enterprise does is seek out like bold new things, bold new worlds.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just not a very good episode, I don't think.
No, and the aliens' makeup is bad. They're all like,
yeah, we're like doing red face. It's weird.
We keep doing this. We keep doing exactly this. Like, what if they all had red skin? Okay, that's not anything. Yep. There are two genuinely funny but also kind of sussy moments of the bros being bros in this one. God, I want that. Is that a McDonald's Sprite or a Coke? Fuck.
Coke, yeah.
I would do anything for a crisp McDonald's.
Dr. Pepper? I actually don't know what that was.
Okay. Anyways.
I think it was Dr. Pepper.
That's the best soda. Okay, the yeoman that comes with them when she's analyzing society, and she's like, they're immortal, so they don't need to, and then all the boys kind of look at her and they're like, you know what? And she's like, and they're like, and they all like lean in, and she's like, intimate relationships, and they all like raise their eyebrows. It's like funny, and it's also so bro-y.
Exhausting.
Yeah, It's just like, this is men. This is like masculine culture to me. You're like, yeah, say sex, huh? I can't believe you said it. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's moments like that that make you yearn for Captain Picard, because he'd be like, stop. This woman is trying to do her job.
And then similar moment of broitude at the end when, you know, they're like, oh, there's all these, like, this is the Garden of Eden, there's heaven, there's God, but like there's no Satan. You know, Satan would have like big pointy ears and stuff. That'd be weird, huh? And then you see Kirk and Bones like walk around Spock like sarcastically and in sync with each other. Like, anyone here look like Satan? Huh? No one? Stop being mean to Spock, guys. Enough of this bullying. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of you.
That part was kind of funny.
It was. I think this episode's a C, though.
Yeah, at most, yeah. There's one great line where Kirk tries to break up Chekov and the yeoman, and he says, "We're not here to conduct a field experiment in human biology."
I wish you were. Meow. Meow, that's right.
All right. The apple is a C.
We barely cracked 5 minutes on that one. That's amazing. Not all of them justify 10 minutes. Some of them I'm like barely fitting in. Some of them I'm like, anyways, that's the next one. This is 3, 2, 1. It's 206, the Doomsday Machine. It's another war story. Oh. What if a machine could kill you and blow up planets? That's kind of cool. What are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to tell a story about war and the cost of war and trauma. And we're going to have another guy here named Decker who has 5 o'clock shadow, and he takes over the Enterprise for a bit. And his name is Matt Decker. I love that. Everyone calls him Decker. And then Kirk is like, Matt, what the fuck? That's amazing.
Where are you going, Matt? Don't
going?
do that.
And Matt's like, I want to die. And he's like, don't die. And he's like, I'm going to die. And he flies a shuttle into the planet killer. Everyone else gets away. I think this episode has some great stuff in it. Some great sax music. And then it just like it turbos its pacing into the floor. And by the end, I feel bad to say it, but I'm like dying for Decker to jump into the thing. I'm like, just die. Just move me on. It's interminable. And I think that the actor who plays Decker is like quite good. Like, I think he's almost punching above his weight in this.
I agree.
William Wyndham is the name of the actor. He's grizzled, he's realistic, he's believable, he's sad. He doesn't seem like he's on Star Trek, and that kind of is cool. But like we said it in season 1, I don't need more. I'm tired of war shows. You know, we're not doing a Band of Brothers podcast. We're doing a Star Trek podcast, and sometimes Star Trek is a war show.
Yeah, I ended up really enjoying this one, largely
good.
on the back of his performance.
Yes.
I think if he had not been as good as he was, this would have been much less interesting. I
agree.
But, you know, they're doing a thing here. Yeah, the war stuff I'm not as interested in. And I didn't fully feel sold on him just kind of like flying into its maw at the end. Like, I get it. There's sort of a survivor's guilt thing happening there. But I think because the pacing was so slow, it didn't quite land for me. But I like that they're doing this kind of like Moby Dick thing almost, is what it felt like to me. He's almost like an Ahab kind of a guy. And they're also thinking about nuclear brinksmanship in a way that I hadn't thought about it before, which is kind of this theme that I was mentioning earlier of like, okay, we're making all these technological advancements. There is kind of like a present day concern, which is we're pointing the nuke at the USSR. They're pointing it at us. Everybody's got their finger on the red button. Like, this is really scary. But there's also this far, 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 far reaching question that's kind of like, well, now we've made the missiles and now they're like sitting around. They're not just going to poof away once we figure this out. And as technology advances, if we don't do something about this approach to war and diplomacy, we're going to create like more and more staggeringly destructive weapons, and it just takes like one fuck up somewhere down the road for somebody to let loose a planet devouring machine that has outlived the civilizations that were using it to keep themselves from destroying each other. And now it's like gone through, and I think towards the beginning of the episode, they're like, damn, a few of the planets we went to last season got eat up by this thing.
It's been doing work.
It's like, oh shit. Oh no. And I think that is a really, really interesting perspective for this show to have on the bomb. That is more interesting to me than when they were trying to do a version of this last season with the civilization that like simulated its war and then sent people to the furnace or whatever. This is more compelling of like, yeah, we're making these big ass weapons, and that then they're going to exist. And what do we do about that? So that was cool.
No, I think to just come back to the Decker stuff really briefly, and then I want to talk about the nuclear disarmament stuff too. The show, one of my biggest problems with TOS, especially in this season, is its insistence that Kirk has to be the one to save the day.
Yeah.
Because Decker dies, and then immediately you're like, wait, why are there 20 minutes of the episode left? And they're like, yeah, it wasn't enough. We have to send another ship in there, and it has to be Kirk, and he has to shoot it in there and then get beamed off. Oh, but they're not going to, the teleporter's going to stop working. You better hurry up. And just as he's about to die, you save the day, and Kirk is the hero. And it's like, it almost like undersells Decker for me. To be like, his plan barely did anything. Kirk's was the one that worked. And it's like, is this just because the writers were like, Kirk has to be the guy? He always has to be the guy. And the show's like religious obsession with Kirk, I think, sometimes bites it in the butt. Sometimes it's interesting, especially how the franchise later undoes that. But for now, it's like, does he always have, because he's an Ahab type, right? Later in the season, he'll be even more explicitly an Ahab type. He's always doing the thing, and it's like, are you going to do the work that's worth it? But like, Decker is an Ahab. They had one. They just then have to kill him to let Kirk do the thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, comparing the Doomsday Machine to Obsession, which we'll talk about at the end.
Yes.
Where Kirk goes through a very similar arc in Obsession that Decker goes through here, where he's like, we're charging straight after that thing. I'm saying we have to do it. And everybody's like, dude, are you nuts? We're not going to do that. That's a terrible idea. But in Obsession, because it's like you're saying, because it's Kirk doing it, the story is then, oh, well, actually, it was good that he did this. Like, maybe it was a bit foolhardy, or he could have done it more deliberately. But if he had listened to all the naysayers, he wouldn't have put himself in the position to destroy this thing.
Correct.
And here, that could have been Decker's arc. Like, there's no reason that we have to have this moment where Decker flies himself into the thing's mouth to kill himself, except we need to, like you're saying, get him out of the way narratively so that Kirk can do the thing that he was going to do. And yeah, that is just kind of lame, because it would be, I think it would be a really interesting story for this guy, kind of like in DS9, I forget the dude, but the one who, or maybe it's TNG, now I can't remember. TNG, there was like a captain who was like a little harsh, and Picard wasn't on the ship, and it's like, dang, this guy was kind of mean, but he actually did what needed to be done.
You know,
in this
Jellicoe.
situation.
Captain
Jellicoe. Yeah. And Decker could have had a Jellicoe moment.
Yeah.
A Jellicoe cat is a smellicoe cat is a delico cat.
I had the same thought.
Rum tum tugger ba. But yeah, I don't know. He looks so cool when he's fidgeting with his little plastic cards. That was great. I'm watching that guy like move his little plastic cards around. Whew.
Can somebody make that and sell it to me, please, on Etsy? I'd love that.
Yeah, I want that. Also, the other thing that his performance really made me appreciate, and then I started noticing in the rest of the episode, something that's delightful about television from this time period that we just don't do because it looks very fake, is the way that they make lighting look so different and dramatic
Yeah.
between shots.
They have to.
So like, right. It's like a technical limitation. But they do close-ups where it's like all the other lights are off and someone's down there with a lamp like shining it in the dude's face, and that's how we're going to light the close-up. And then you cut to the wide shot and the lighting looks completely different because that's not how you light a room. Or like, oh, Kirk's at the computer and we need to show that he's looking at something, so we're going to shine like a beam of light across his eyes, like big straight rectangle like this.
Quietly, the best thing about TOS is the fact that because some people didn't have color TVs, they had to light it insanely well.
Yeah, it's really cool to look at, and I want a show to do that. Just be like, we're shooting this on a soundstage, and we're lighting it weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about it looking like it's in real life.
Nope.
I want it to be Technicolor, and I want you to put a hot, bright lamp in somebody's face, make them sweat.
The closest thing I can think of is sometimes the One Piece live action show does that, where I'm like, this is trying not. That's because it's trying to look like a manga. It tries not to look real, and in ways that are often interesting. But I get what you're saying. That's a really cool touch. And my other touch was like, I wish we could see the not remastered version of this, because so much of it relies on like, look at this big cylinder, it's gonna shoot you, and you're like, what did this look like originally?
So curious what that looked like. Oh.
And also the soundtrack, apparently they got like a new composer for just this episode, and he like composed the full score. It's like meant to be listened to start to finish, which kind of shows it has that that aspect feeling of like movements to it. We just hit time, by the way. B?
Yeah, B for the smashing machine.
Okay, I like that.
The doomsday machine.
The doomsday smashy. It's time for Cat's Paw. Okay, so we had Lieutenant Commander Emrys is probably going to send us a audio message if she gets the chance, maybe or maybe not. But she did want me to note that Cat's Paw, there it is. On the video version, you can see the Cat's Paw was an episode that was delayed to coincide with Halloween, which makes it the only holiday episode of Star Trek in franchise history. They have never again done a episode themed around a holiday, because I don't even know what the fuck. They're on a planet where everything's weird and spooky, and there's two aliens that are secretly just like dumb little shrimps, but they can make themselves look like a beautiful woman or a bald man with a staff or a black cat or a big black cat or a small black cat, and they want to experience sensations, so they try to make people freak out, and Kirk tries to lean into it, and then they confuse them and scare them, and that's like all it is. This one to me blows. This one sucks. And I'm sorry, because there are parts of it that are legitimately scary, and I love when Star Trek as a franchise tries to lean into horror, like early on when they're like on the planet, like, what's going on here, why is it like this? Once we see a black cat, you've lost any interest in the fear and the scare factor. And I'm sorry to say, this episode did absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, well, it's the thing that's so frustrating about this episode is they have the recipe for the campiest little thing, which is like, we're gonna take all these fellas from TOS and we're gonna put them on Halloween Planet, where there's a witch lady and there's a black cat and there's skeletons and bats and ooh, it's so spooky scary. And you're like, okay, awesome. That sounds really fun. Then they spend so much time with Spock being like, well, Captain, you see, these creepy, spooky things come from your racial subconscious. It's like, no, man. They come from It's a Party. That's where they come from.
You know what's crazy, Magellan?
I want to see the price tags on the robes. Yes. I don't want to talk about my deep, whatever the fuck. It's so dumb.
Yeah, you're
They like
subconscious
walk
and all
them.
that.
They try to like walk around the block back into a serious sci-fi concept, and it's stupid.
It ruins the episode. It should just be stupid and
Yeah,
funny. There are later episodes that are
yeah,
serious but let themselves be stupid and funny that I think works. This one should be stupid
yeah.
and funny but forces itself to be serious and fumbles as a result.
Yes.
My fun fact is that, do you know who wrote this episode?
Who wrote it?
Robert Bloch. Do you know what famous novel Robert Bloch wrote? Bloch, maybe? I don't know if you pronounce it. Bloch.
Halloween.
You'll
Town?
get it as soon as you Google it.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
No. He wrote Psycho. He wrote Psycho.
Oh.
Not the movie. He wrote the book that the movie is based
on.
So which is bonkers.
Okay.
Like iconic novel, very cerebral, scary. The movie's iconic and the classic. So he comes on here to write a horror episode, which again I think is like aesthetically creepy in parts, but it does not like instill fear in me. I would not add this to my Halloween rotation. I think some of the costuming work, if I want to be nice, like some of the costuming work is nice. Thinking of other things to say. The staff that the guy has is kind of cool. Yeah, I wrote this one falls off a cliff once they introduce the villain. Like when it's just why are things jumping out at us? I'm like, oh, haunted house. And then they're like, I want sensations. You need to bring me sensations. I love sensations. I'm like, oh, get me out of here. They put the Enterprise in they put it on fire and it's like a voodoo thing where it's like, oh, now everyone's hot. Dumb. And the twist ending is that they're just a bunch of little squids and we squish them, they die. I hate this.
I like that. I actually like that part.
You like that? You like the what if we're just dumb squids?
Yeah, because it's like there are episodes that'll imply like this is all an illusion, but I love that they take the time to be like, look at them, look at these little shrimps. You thought she was sexy, she was a little shrimp the whole time, you freak.
And now she's dead.
Fuck. And now she's dead. Yeah, I think it's really just like the Western centrism of being like everything spooky and scary is exactly what we think Halloween is, and that's like how humanity works. And no, but I love the part where we keep getting the close-ups of the cat going and then we see the shadow around the corner of the cat like
Oh, I didn't realize you wrote they're kind of cute as their real forms. I'm sorry for saying that was dumb.
Oh, it's okay. You're allowed to have your own opinion.
They are. There's something cute to it, of course. Racial subconscious.
I think D for cat's paw, right?
Yeah, I feel, you know what? I want to say like, oh my god, don't hate us. This is not exactly a critically beloved episode.
No.
Do you want to take a break now, or do you want to keep going?
I mean, this is a good time to take a break. I could keep going. Let's take a break.
Okay, I'll take a $5.
We got to really take a nice deep breath before we visit our friend Harry Mudd.
Get his name right, Magellan.
Harry Mudd.
No, his full name.
Mr. Harry Mudd.
No.
What's his full name? Harold Mudd?
No, they say it. Harcourt Fenton Mudd, motherfucker.
Harcourt, that's right. Harcourt Fenton Mudd.
We'll be right back after this musical break to discuss iMud and so much more when we continue our discussion of Star Trek TOS Season 2, Part 1. Back after this.
Me when my Harcourt Fent gets stuck in wet dirt.
On mud. Oh. Hardcore.
It's like, oh, my Harcourt Fent is in mud.
Goodbye, everyone.
Welcome back to TrekChatz. It's a show where we watch Star Trek. I was going to say 2 episodes a week, but that's not true. We watch it a season every 5 weeks or so. No, half a season every 5 weeks or so. Gosh.
13 episodes a month.
Scotty, send me back to the brig.
Scotty.
And we watch it first. Scotty don't.
That's from Austin Powers.
Oh, okay. Scotty, don't.
You should watch. You should watch Austin Powers. I don't want to do the whole bit
I've
right now.
seen Austin
No,
Powers.
you
I've
should
seen
watch it again. You should watch it like.
I'll watch it
like,
again. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Earn $5 million. See, I have to have seen Austin Powers to know what that is.
Sure.
Speaking of things we've seen, we watched the first half of season 2 of Star Trek, the original series, and we're continuing to talk about it. I'm still Magellan. That's still Allen. Hey, what's up? Whoa.
I think that's a Sour Punch straw moment. Oh yeah.
Are Sour Punch straw moments just moments where you want to eat a Sour Punch straw?
No, Magellan.
Wow, that really deflated you.
The video version communicated a lot, listener.
That was a very McCoy reaction.
Yeah.
Somebody says something to totally ruin your life, and you just.
Yes, that's exactly
anyway.
what it is.
Let's talk about iMud, episode 8 of season 2.
And yes, I will be muting myself when I'm chewing. I know, listener. I know you don't like it when we eat on the pod.
It's time to talk about Mud post women.
Hardcore Fenton Mud? Sorry, choking. Oh wait, why post women? What does that mean? Why'd you write that?
Mud's Women was the last Mud episode, so now we're post women. iMud, and we're not really post women exactly. We rejoin Harcourt Fenton Mud. What?
Dang, the girls are fighting. It's also the premise of the episode.
Just walking around screaming.
Same.
Yeah, so Harcourt Fenton Mud, we get like taken to a planet because there's a robot who's like, come with me, look at my tummy. I got a little roby tummy. Robitussin. They're like, okay, sounds good. Then they go, and Kirk's like, oh my god, it's Harry Mud. What's up, dude? And Mud's like, not much. I've basically been living in Austin Powers world here. Robot women, no problem. It's great. Look, one of my 500 girlfriends can crush your communicator with her bare hands. And look, I have one robot that's my wife from back home. Whatever.
But she just wants to shut up, which is insane. And Stella is the like annoying my B-word wife stereotype made manifest as an android that Mud can at any point just say shut up and she stops talking. And this joke is flipped back around later when his punishment for all of this is that he's stuck on this planet with an infinite wives who don't listen to him when he says shut up.
So stupid.
I love it. I love it.
And basically, over the course of the episode, all of these androids are really giving us a great time. Kirk's worried. He's like, no, my crew, they're going to be too chill and they're not going to suffer enough to create progress. This is bad. Let's go home. And then all the androids are like, no, you can't go home because humans suck. And we're going to fix humanity by making you all so dependent upon our help that we rule you by being your helpers. And, that's kind of interesting.
A little bit something going on there.
Well, prescient, this whole worry about like, oh, the danger of technology is that we'll just kind of let it do stuff for us to the point where now we don't know how to do anything without it. And they want to take the Enterprise. Then, of course, we have to make the computers blow up by giving them math problems. And then we get to go home, but Mud has to stay here, and that's pretty fun. What'd you think of iMud?
I think this is a wonderful episode in the sense that it descends into complete chaos and madness. It knows it's funny. It lets itself be funny. It makes fun of itself. And it takes the we confuse androids so much that they blow themselves up to its natural conclusion, which is that it's not just about... are you all right? Is the cat okay?
Yeah, I was just watching its movements. It found its food bowl.
Oh, good. Instead of just like, what if we gave it 6 plus 100 equals fish? What if we just started jumping around and acting like absolute lunatics? Which is really, really fun. And I can't deny that I find all of those scenes so good that they make up for the rest of it. There's some good thematic ideas of like, yeah, well, these robots are helping us. Well, now I'm trapped by the robots. That's all very 1960s. And I think Roger Carmel is just so fucking funny. The guy who plays Mud, he's weird. He's funny. He's got comedic swag, and yeah, this is. I mean, it's like a fluffy episode, but I'm glad to see Mud back in a light one.
Yeah,
How about you?
Agreed. Yeah, a lot of enjoyable little elements. I liked Mud a lot more in this one. He's a more fun character when he is stuck in a situation, as opposed to when he's like trying to sell women. That was not great. But when he's like, I got it made, don't worry about it, and I'm trapped here, get me out of here, please. It's like, yeah, this is good. I like Mud in that exact situation. And I agree with you. This kind of third act where they're like, okay, we're gonna make everything we do nonsensical is
really
is
funny.
pretty great. Like when they pretend that Scotty dies or something again, and then they all start dancing like, woo, we're so sad. Oh no. And it's like, oh no, he's got a bomb, and they're not holding anything, throwing it.
It's like the
Stuff like
actors were
that.
told to pretend they were in Improv 101.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Do a bomb. Oh, we gotta hit it with the golf club. Boom. Oh, it's over there. And the guy's like, there is no bomb. And they're like, no, it's right there. It blew up. Oh my god. It's so people who don't know how to do improv are just like,
Yeah.
We all agree. If we just agree, that's good improv, right? I love it. I love it. I think it just gives the actors flexibility to be weird. And like say stuff that you would never hear them normally say, because they're so, like I was saying earlier, that this season really like codified who everyone was, and it's like, just let Kirk say stuff like, no, it's a beautiful lady and we love her. Like, just let him just say random shit. I don't know. And there's Alice's and there's Diane's and there's Janine's, and there's only one Henry or whatever the fuck the guy's name is. And that's great. And then Uhura gets to do stuff. This is some excellent show because of Uhura stuff. She's like, I actually do want to go with the androids and I want to be made into an immortal person. And they're like, we'll gladly give that to you. And the crew's like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, anyways, robots, you should leave for 5 minutes. We're going to talk. And she's like, pretty good, right? Pretty good joke. I got those stupid robots. She's funny. I love Michelle Nichols so damn much on the show when she gets to do things.
Yeah. That moment right after that where Kirk is like, Uhura, and then he like bear hugs her, lifts her up. It's like, yeah, this is like a fresh thing. We're doing something fun and different with the ensemble here. More of that, please.
Way more of that. Maybe that's what the movies are. No, that's not what the movies are. No. 500,000-year life cycle androids. Chekov being doted on by his two android twins, saying things. Oh, this is where Chekov gets to shine and say things like, and I quote, "This place is better than Leningrad." I know. They really, as soon as they're like, okay, here he is, front center stage, Anton Chekov. What does he have? Well, he's got the most fuck-ass, bum-ass wig you've ever seen in your life. Okay, that's fine. What's his character? Russian. What does that mean? He's just gonna, like, say Russian things. He's playing stereotypes. It's fun. This was such a common thing back then. He's just one of many characters of the era who are a stereotype of their culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really intriguing character to add in season 2. And part of it is like, oh, they're making this really cool point about peace in the future, and like we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna be so far beyond like this Cold War stuff that there's a Russian guy in the Federation too, and it's chill. Like we had the Scottish guy, we got the Southern doctor guy, we got the Swahili woman. It's all happening. We got Sulu here, who's Asian American, and they like it's fine, and Russian too. Great. But like you're saying, they're also like, by the way, he's the dumbest little dork on the whole crew. He's so stupid.
I like the Russian stuff just does nothing for me. It's just like basic stereotypes. But him being like motivated by the most basic instincts of like, I want to be with women and have a girlfriend and like hold hands with her and maybe kiss her and do more. Yeah, he's like a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
He's got like no maturity whatsoever. That stuff I love.
Yeah. Yeah. Because all the Russian stuff really just boils down to like, oh yeah, we invented that in Russia.
Right.
Like there's the moment where McCoy says some idiom or something later, and he's like, oh yeah, that's a Russian saying.
Yeah.
Pause for audience laughter. Like, okay, I guess. I don't know.
I prefer that stereotype to the like my wife who can't stop nagging me stereotype, which is just so lazy.
It's a weird moment.
It's just lazy. So and I'm glad they make a joke about it, but still, do better.
It gives us a little, there's some reading of that of like Harry Mudd as this pansexual queer icon who did not have like the language or the self-awareness to be like, oh, I'm in this very traditional, stereotypical monogamous heterosexual relationship and I'm stifled within it. So I'm going to like go to the stars and just fuck my way through them and marry 500 robot women. But I'm still like, I haven't quite processed all that. Like there is something to that, but it is not what they were going for. They were going for like, can't get away from my crazy wife.
Yeah, I think that ultimately, this is the last Mudd episode of TOS. We'll see Mudd again someday.
What?
Yeah.
No more Mudd?
No more Mudd. I mean, there's not a lot of episodes left.
Mudd? They only did 2 Mudd episodes?
Yeah.
Fuck.
We'll come back though. Again, TOS it got canceled. They might have done more Mudd episodes. Also, that actor died really young. He died in like the 80s.
Oh.
So he died in his 50s. The last thing I was gonna say, just Mudd being like stuck in his ways of, is that, like you said, like heterosexual life does not do anything for me. This is what that is. Okay, I would rather go anywhere else. That's a fun read. I enjoy that read. I think this episode is so bad it's good.
Oh.
We haven't brought that one out in a while.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I would give it a B.
It kind of is good, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't fight you on that, sure. I might as B.
I don't know. Like, I think it's camp on purpose.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
You can't have a Harry Mudd episode without it being on purpose.
I think it's a B.
This place is better than Leningrad.
Yeah.
And this
I would love to wear one of the necklaces that the Alice's have. By the way, played by twin sisters. That's what was going on there.
Ooh, that's fun. That's very fun. Let's talk about this next one. I have a lot to say about this one, believe it or not. I need to hit the cue. Boom. 209, Metamorphosis. I knew that this one had some sort of lore going on, and then they said that the guy's name was Cochrane, and I was like, oh my god, is it? And I was like, wait, is this that episode that I've heard them out before? And it ends up being this like kind of thoughtful, well-acted romance tragedy of Cochrane being trapped on a planet with an entity who, of course, is like a cloud, but it's also a woman. And when the entity manifests as a woman, it says, I love you. And he's like, I love you too, I think, but I don't want to say that because you're not a human. And it's like, well, I can be human. And it saves the life of a dying doctor who the crew brought with them to save him. And when it merges with him, they're like, okay, perfect. You and the girl just stay on this planet forever. And he's like, but I'm Zephram Cochrane. I need to like go do adventures. Like I invented warp. It's important that I go into space. And the lady's like, I die if I leave this planet. And so he says, I give up everything to be with you, and we will be together and die a natural life on this planet. Oh, I think at first I was like, do I think this episode is good? and I think it's actually pretty good, not amazing. I think I
Mhm.
really like Glenn Corbett. I think Glenn Corbett and he also just has a great face. The guy who plays Zefram Cochrane.
Mhm.
He's got these
Mhm.
deep, deep, colorful eyes and like a well of
Mhm.
empathy inside of them. The script is nothing to write home about. It's not remarkable, but like, just it's like why does it even have to be Zefram Cochrane? It's like history is pulling him away from his love. There's something very dopey and romantic about this one that I was kind of enchanted by it. What did you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I felt similarly to when we learned the fate of Captain Pike, where it's like, wait, that's what happens to Captain Pike? Like, this guy just kind of ends up in a holographic land with his lady friend. I thought he was like an important dude. Um, and with Zephyr Cochrane, I felt similarly, but it's like even more I don't know what the word is. Like dissonant, but not in a bad way. Kind of dissonant in like the way where you can play a chord of notes where there is dissonance, but the chord goes. Like it's supposed to sound like that. And I'm kind of like, but in my head, Cochrane is like this old drunk guy, and can I square
Yeah, he's
what
James Cromwell from First Contact.
right? Like, can I square the First Contact character with this iteration? And like, what do I make of that? What does that mean to me? And that was like pretty cool. Um, I don't know. It made me appreciate the characterization of him in First Contact, that they kind of like make him so surly and so apathetic in a different way, and so like what the way that he is, that you can then be like, oh cool. So then kind of like discovering warp and getting out there into the stars and then being in this situation for a century um really mellowed him out and kind of changed his perspective and his priorities. um yeah, I thought it was really interesting.
It makes me actually like First Contact more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Because yeah, it's like, how does that guy become this guy? The idea being that they are the same person. He lives that life. He is that surly, and he gets stuck. And it's like, yeah, what happens when you have nothing to do, and you're just kept alive by like one person? You stop caring so much about these little things. You stop. He just wanted to fly, and he got to. And this is not like they could have easily done like, this is Cochrane before he went on his ride, or this is Cochrane from a timeline where he never did it. It's like, no, this is actually that. Like, I finished the episode and I was like, what was the point of it being him? Like, it could be any man. But then it motivates him to need to leave, to want to leave. Like, I want to keep going. I did all this work to go into space, and now I don't get to go anywhere else. But it also, like, there's some beautiful tragedy to that. The first guy to ever discover warp and like, or to figure out warp, stayed in space to be in love with an alien.
Yeah.
Like, truly genuine romantic love with an alien that is also a human woman being kept alive. So they're both being kept alive by the same alien in a way, and they both choose to die together. Something really beautiful and like almost poetic about that.
Yeah. And that's happening for him after like living for 150 years, just being like, sometimes I walk into this cloud and it makes me feel good but sleepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I don't
really
know why.
boring.
I'll never
Like,
know why.
Yeah, there's just like so much time that we don't see of him where it's like, oh shit, you discovered warp and then you got stranded out here
Yeah.
for forever. And he thought he was going out into space to die.
Right.
And it's like, nope. There's a little bit more for you to do.
A little. And then you did eventually get to die.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It, to me, I think what matters about it being Cochrane is it becomes this kind of this really interesting little, like, I don't know what the word is. It's like a parable or a whatever metaphor, where you sort of see like history in this romance with space and with with the unknown. Like Cochrane is young and he's got the energy and the ability to go out and get there, not because that's who he was when he went out there, because he was an old man when he was warping out into space, but like this is the man that by the time of TOS society remembers him to be, and they've named all this stuff after him. It's like, oh my god, Zephram Cochrane's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's gonna like forever be this young, strapping, adventurous space guy. And his like essence is kind of inextricably tied to this idea of like we're getting out there, we're in space, we're communing with the unknown. So you get to then kind of like visit this historical figure and the way that he's remembered and be like, how do you feel about that? You're kind of stuck as this sort of spacefaring dude without any specific accomplishments. And he's like, I don't know, it's kind of boring, but also like sublimely beautiful in a way. So I guess it's chill.
This is an okay way to go out.
Really cool. Yeah.
There's a great speech that Kirk gives him to try to inspire him to help them, where he's like, don't you want to see the world that you made? Like, don't you want to explore space? And he's like, I guess I do. I guess I'll help you guys. So Kirk's kind of the one to first motivate him. But then, you know, there's this whole, like, the way that we get you off of here is by blowing up the companion. We're going to, like, teleport a bomb or, like, a explosive device and blow the cloud up. And he references being a Judas goat, the goat that lied, that brings somebody to the slaughter, which I thought was a great little literary moment. And it's just sad. It's just, and the other thing is that Kirk's argument fails here, right? Because he later says, you know, you have to have obstacles. You can't just be here safe. Once again, Kirk really is the kind of person who believes that suffering is part of the point. Our species can only survive if we have obstacles to overcome. And I once again have to tell you, Captain James D. Kirk, I do not agree with you. And that's okay. That's fine. It's just, as a motivation for Cochrane, it doesn't work. You know? So, yeah, just a ton to chew on in this one. A ton. For what's a pretty straightforward episode. Yeah.
And, I mean, to an extent, what Kirk is saying, not like, is it true or not, but I think the story kind of holds to Kirk's perspective insofar as like who's in the next episode. It's Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise, because they're going to continue to find obstacles to overcome.
Yes.
So they're going to continue to survive and to live within the narrative because they are like directly confronting these things. And then you have Cochrane, who's this character who is like very deeply ingrained in the lore. He is a creature of story at this point. He's lived like far past his real life.
Yes.
So he would be returning to the galaxy like basically a you know, mythical figure. And he's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to survive in that way. I'm content with the story of my life as it's been told. I actually don't want you to even tell anybody that I was here.
Yeah.
Right. But like, then the camera leaves. So is he surviving, or is this just like the story's like, okay, now he's going to go die over here. It's going to take a really long time, but it's kind of like a foregone conclusion that we know what's going to happen to him for the rest of his life.
It's actually, you mentioned Pike earlier. It's almost the exact same ending that Pike gets. Like, he will live a natural life and die with a woman who may or may not be necessarily real and tangible, and that will be his life. And he doesn't need everybody to know. He's already in the history books. And I think there was even a TNG episode about, like, people from another time being woken up, and it's like, oh, where do you go from here? That's, like, one of my favorite Star Trek episode premises, He's like, what do you do in a world that forgot who you are? Your whole family and friends are all dead. Do you want to live in the future? You can. We'll give you a ship and fuel and resources to go do it if you want. And like in the case of Star Trek characters, no one ever takes it. Like, why would you?
Yeah.
I think it's super interesting. I think this episode ends up rating really highly for me because I was like, this is thought-provoking, and the performance by Glenn Corbett is so good. And I don't know, it kind of made me sad in like a cool way.
Yeah. I think the only, and this is a big thing, that I count against it is the gender stuff is so ridiculous to me. So ridiculous.
This episode does feature the best Spock line of all time, mind you. The matter of gender could change the entire situation. Because when they find out that the Cloud is a woman, he's like, wait, hold on.
Kirk's response to that is way ahead of you. But yeah, there's this line, I can't remember, it's Kirk or McCoy or somebody says the idea of male and female are universal constants. Even like little shimmery clouds, there are boy clouds and there are girl clouds. And the girl clouds like boys, even human boys. So the fact that the girl cloud likes you means that she loves you, and she can go inside this human lady. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And baffling to me that you can be writing this show where you're like, imagine the immense vastness of the universe and like all sorts of life we've never encountered. Like this thing, it can't even speak to Zephram Cochrane, but it can kind of like surround him with this beautiful shimmery light and commune with him. And isn't this like a cool kind of transhumanist metaphysical thing? But what we know for sure is that it's a girl and he's a boy. There are girls and boys, and it's like, wow, that is really fucking ingrained into your brain, man. Like, fuck. I don't know about that. Drives me nuts. Just fuck a gay Cloud. It's okay.
It's fine. It's cool.
Fine. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Well said. Well said. Does that take points off the episode for you, though?
Yeah, but it still could be like a B or an A. I think it's still moving.
Yeah, I would give it an A. I gave it an S for myself, but that's because I was emotional. I admit it's not perfect.
I think A is good.
Should I hit that whistle?
Hit it.
It's time to talk about Journey to Babel, the 10th episode of season 2. This one was written by DC Fontana and is about Spock's father, Sarek, and his mother, Amanda, fiance of the podcast. In this episode, there are a bunch of dignitaries that are going to a diplomatic conference, so they're taking the Enterprise to go there, including Sarek and Amanda, who we find out are Spock's parents, and that he has beef with his dad because his dad doesn't like that he went to Starfleet instead of the Vulcan Medical Academy, Science Academy, and so we're dealing with that beef, and meanwhile, there's a murder on the delegates, in the delegate group. A Tellarite is killed, a pig man who hates Sarek is killed, and we need to find out who did it because Sarek's on trial, except Sarek also has a cardiac arrest moment, and the only person who can save him is Spock, who offers to give his life away. But he doesn't actually have to give his life away. And also, Sarek didn't do it. And that should be the end of the episode, but then we spend like a solid 15 more minutes on like chasing the Tellarite, or chasing the actual, whatever the real alien is, the fart alien. And there's a fake antenna that's actually not an antenna, but a wire. This episode is so good, and then it keeps going. It's my review of it. I understand why it's well regarded. I think people know it for Sarek. I think Sarek, the actor who plays him, is amazing.
Yep.
And then it just keeps going. I like fell asleep and rewound it. And I was like, I didn't miss anything. What do you think of Journey to Babel?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's interesting coming to this having seen Sarek and Spock in TNG, and knowing like, wow, they still can't figure this out, huh? Like way later, they're still on weird terms, and that made it hard for me to which is like no fault of this show because TNG comes much later. You could argue that it's a fault of TNG's depiction of the Spock Sarek relationship, that essentially like nothing has changed between the two of them by that point. But I think just coming from that perspective, it made it hard for me to really invest in this, because it's like, well, I know that whatever kind of growth or closeness they find here isn't going to last. But, you know, there is something intriguing to me about taking the like Vulcan logic thing and using it in this episode as a stand-in for just like guys and like fathers and sons masculinity, and the way that it closes men off from being able to be vulnerable with each other and like connect to each other emotionally. And then it leaves the women in the situation to be like, can you please admit that you care about your dad? Like, that does that not matter to you? So in that way, that really works for me in this episode, the Vulcan thing representing masculinity and the relationships between fathers and sons, and all this stuff where Spock's like, I gotta run the ship, I can't give dad my blood, it's logic, he would love me for doing that. That all worked for me, but yeah, it was just a bit too long.
Cut out like 15 straight minutes of this episode and we have a golden S tier episode. Seriously.
Yeah.
Holy smoke. And I even like the murder mystery aspect of like a delegate was murdered, and we know he's an asshole, but like he doesn't deserve to be killed. That's actually kind of cool, but the episode just tries to do a lot at once. And again, I think it's well regarded because the Spock and Sarek relationship is like one of the franchise's best. And I actually disagree a little bit that it makes the TNG episode worse. I like there's a unique as a son. I think I've been having some of the same disagreements with my father since the day I could like have arguments, and I will continue to have them until the day that he passes. So like, yeah, there is an element of like, we're changing, we apologize, we grow, and then we just do it again. And it's like, God. Yeah. With family, sometimes the arguments never stop. And it's funny because in TNG, if I remember correctly, there is this element of Spock going like, do I give my life for my father? And he like debates that, I think. And it's like almost funny, yeah, for him to be like, I've already done this. I've already said I would give it. I decided long ago that if it was me or Sarek, that I would give my life to Sarek. And I guess I'm doing it again, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a series favorite for sure. I just like seeing a lot of aliens that would later be like fleshed out in bigger ways later. Obviously the Tellarites, the pig aliens. I read a note that the mask was so uncomfortable and he couldn't see through the eyes, so he looks like this all the time. He looks up, which makes him look really smug, and that's why the Tellarites are smug, is because he had to literally look up to look in the eyes. I love that. I love I noted a couple of weird aliens in the background of this like conference scene. There's little people who wear gold body paint. Sure. That is what it is. There are people who just have Andy Warhol wigs. Sure. This is just like, what's in the costume store? What can we get out of costuming? And then there's the blue antenna people. There are people who are just like Arabs with turbans. Star Wars could never. Star Wars will try. We'll go on to try to do this, but oh, and then quick note. God, Amanda, so good. I know you think that about your fiance all the time, but Amanda, the character in the show, when she's like, I just, Spock to me is such a sweet guy, and they're like, Spock? Sweet? And she's like, he always used to play with his little Selah, and they're like, his what? They're like, she's like, it's like a little fat teddy bear that he loves and hugs all the time. They're like, we're cooking him in the group chat tonight. I don't care. We get to see this Selah in the animated series.
His shit-eating grin when he learns that Spock had a teddy bear is so funny.
We get to see that teddy bear if we watch the animated series.
Oh, fun.
There's actually, from the little I watched of TAS, there's like some good Vulcan stuff in it. But yeah, just like cool aliens that like in this are just like goofy backyard characters, and later on they'd be like, well, the Tellarites, and they believe in blood and blah, they give them lore. I think this one, I want to give it an A because it's the Sarah stuff is so good, but there's so much of this episode that I don't like.
I think it's a B.
I do too, but I'm sorry to say that because I know we got some Journey to Babel fans in the chat. We don't have a chat in the Discord and our listeners, but you just gotta watch the episode and remember how much of it is dedicated to like, we gotta chase them, we gotta blow them up. Oh my god, the Orions. It's actually the Orions. They were gonna do. It's a suicide mission. Also, the little button at the end where Amanda and Sarek are talking, and they're like, why'd you guys fall in love? If, like, that's not logical. And they're like, it felt logical at the time. Aww.
And the music cue that plays is so silly.
Yeah.
I had 2 laugh out loud moments, and then I'm good on this episode.
Okay.
One of them was Kirk. He's on the bridge, even though he's not feeling well because he had to get Spock to get off the bridge to go give his dad blood. And then Uhura's at the computer. She's like, all the ambassadors are asking what's going on. And William Shatner goes, tell them to take a good guess.
Yes.
It's really fun delivery of that line. And then the other one, McCoy makes a big deal in this episode about like, look, I know I've studied Vulcan physiology, but I've never operated on a Vulcan before. This is my first time doing surgery for a Vulcan. They're in the surgery. Nurse Chapel starts reading off like blood pressure statistics to McCoy. And he says, I wish I knew whether that was good or bad.
I don't know what any of this means.
Oh, McCoy, you slay me.
He's the funniest character on the show by a long shot. By a long shot. Yeah, I think this gets a B though. I think we can't not give it a B. That's just a Chatz rating. I can't. I refuse to give an episode a high rating just because people like it. I absolutely. That's one of the things I'm firm on. And we'll talk about that yet again as we move on. Then we didn't even crack 10 on Journey to Babel. That's crazy. It's got cool aliens and Spock and Sarek are good. What else do I need to say? That's like the whole. Watch the episode. Let's move on. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we got 3 straight C's in a row. Boom, boom, boom. I don't want to spend more than 2 minutes on each one. These episodes are dull and boring.
Okay, go. Wait, 3, 2, 1, go. Friday's Child, 211. Tell me.
Friday's Child. Okay, we're on a planet with tribes, and there's like an old guy. He's got a young wife. He says, a young wife, give an old man a son to rule these tribes.
Yes.
McCoy says, I'm a doctor, not an escalator. Yep. And then he has to help this lady give birth. She's like, I don't want to give birth. He's like, come on, don't women love to have children and want to give birth? Don't you wanna? Anyway, we got to fight with bow and arrow. Pew, pew, pew. And now it's McCoy's child. Gucci, Gucci, goo.
Uchi, woochie, coochie, coo.
Yeah, Uchi Wuchi Coochie Coo.
It's the summoning spell. I got a minute and a half to tell you stuff. Okay, the Bones mom stuff and Bones and the mom stuff should have been the whole episode. Everything else with like these warring people, there's a Klingon here and they're fighting. Boring, snooze, good night, peace out. Don't care. Him being cute and funny and being like, say it. I'm the parent. And she's like, yes, Bones, you're the parent. He's like, no, I'm not the parent. She's like, you're the dad. It's so fucking funny. Fun fact about this episode, DC Fontana, one of the only women writers in the sci-fi at the time on TV, she wrote this episode because she wanted to tell a story about a woman who didn't want to have a kid, who like didn't want to have to raise a kid. I love that. That kernel of realness inside of an otherwise like kind of absurd, kind of boring episode. That part's good. Yeah. 30 seconds.
And it just adds this vibe where she's like a different writer would have made her like a breathy ingenue who's like, McCoy, please help me give birth to my child. But in this, he's like, oh, whoops, I'm just trying to help. And she's kind of like gruff and just, I don't know, it's fun. It's like, it's different than that and funny.
10 seconds.
No.
Okay. Moving on. That was C, by the way.
You agree? Yeah, C.
Yeah. Big time. 3, 2, 1, go. 212, the deadly years. Everyone's old.
Old people are scary. Old people are scary. We're getting old fast because we went to a planet. There's a woman who's an endocrinologist, but you can't just be a female endocrinologist. You also have to be breathy, blonde, wear pink, and be Kirk's ex-lover, who was married to a much older man and is cool with him being old for some reason.
Yes.
McCoy keeps getting more and more Southern the older he gets. And then they spend a long time wondering if Kirk is still competent enough to be captain when we know that he's being turned old by some fucking thing. And we have a whole hearing about if he's losing his memory. So there's some kind of spell making him old. Who gives a fuck? What are we talking about?
The episode tries to make a bigger point about like, oh, like if you get old, then like, you know, the world moves beyond you. But like, we know they're gonna fix it. Also, the episode has nothing to say about like how being old can make you wiser or make your life better. It only thinks like being old means you can't hear anymore and you can't see and you're stupid. And it's like, no, there are good things about being old, and this franchise will go on to say nicer things about that. I think it's cowardly to not age Uhura. I wish they did that with her and like let her be old with everybody else. And I ran out of stuff to write, so I wrote, it's funny that they're 29-year-olds, and this is what it felt like when I was 25, meeting 29-year-olds, and they're like, I'm 29! You're like, you're geriatric. Also, I was so bored that I wrote, wait, is Major Barrett Nurse Chapel and the computer in the same show? Does that mean that Nurse Chapel is the computer? Did they give her voice?
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. So,
also, did you notice in the Mirror universe the computer was a man's voice? What's up with that?
Good catch, and that's time. Move on. C. Deadly Ears.
C. Deadly Ears. See you later.
I don't know why I'm doing the voice. I have a soundboard. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So we're done. It's Obsession 213, and this one, Kirk is seeing a cloud, and it reminds him of the time that he fought a cloud 11 years ago with a man who died, and now that man's son is on his team, and he's like, don't give me special treatment, and Kirk's like, I won't, but I may have, and everyone's like, you're crazy and drunk with power and kind of like going insane. And he's like, I don't care, do what I tell you to. Everyone says Rizzo instead of Rizzo, and I love that they all go, well, did you hear what happened to Rizzo? That's hilarious. I'm sick of Kirk being the smartest person ever. I love the line, you know the greatest monster of them all, Jim? Guilt. That's it. That's the episode.
And it smells like honey.
Yeah. The beginning where they're like, something smelly. Weird. Honey cloud.
Yeah. This is an episode about Kirk having trauma from this bad thing that happened when he was a young guy on his first mission, seeing himself in another young guy and being like, it's the same thing, and being right, which is lame. He should be wrong and be like, whoa, I'm not over this thing. Whatever.
Yeah, 45 seconds.
Yeah, and he can't shoot a cloud, so he learns like, maybe it wasn't my fault.
Oh, how do they take care of this? How do they fix the problem?
They like suck it through the vents and blast it with something stupid. I don't remember.
The part where Spock sees that there's the cloud coming through and he puts his hands over the vent as if it's gonna work. So funny.
Yeah, we learned that it doesn't like his blood because his blood has copper in it.
Yeah, sure. More Vulcan physiology for no reason.
McCoy's like, it's that green blood of his. from backstage, he's like, it's that green blood.
That fuck ass green blood you got, you fucking freak.
Captain Kirk is that green ass blood over here. Oh, shit. I'm a doctor, not a blood. Oh shit. Oh my god.
It's time.
That's the C.
It's getting hotter and hotter in my apartment. I'm like actually I feel like I'm the actors on Star Trek the original series now. I'm sweating to death. Yeah, these last couple were just like really mid.
They were just like, yeah, whatever, replacement tier lame episodes. But that's part of the fun, right? So to recap, Cat's Paw D sucks. I wish it was bad, but actually good. That's what it was destined to be, but it failed.
I agree.
C tier, The Apple, Friday's Child, The Deadly Years, and Obsession. B tier, Who Mourns for Adonais, The Doomsday Machine. I, Mud, Journey to Babel. A tier, Amok Time, The Changeling, Metamorphosis. And then S tier, we have Mirror, Mirror. Some truly, truly iconic episodes of Star Trek the Original Series in this batch.
Indeed.
A lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Indeed. I had a great time.
Yeah.
This was a pretty chill watch experience for me. I didn't feel rushed or stressed out. And that's it. I'm excited to wrap up season 2. Part 2 has even more iconic episodes. We're really in the heat of it. Season 3 is where they take the dip. So we're about to hit what I think a lot of people consider the peak of TOS.
Nice. Fun.
What are we doing next time on
Should
ChatzPod?
we tell? Yeah, should we unveil this?
I think it's time. It's happening next week. Well, so
Yeah.
next week is the setup for it, but that is in its way episode 0. So, as folks who've been keeping up with the Chatz community know, and have known for a while, we finished a lot of great shows. We finished the OA, we finished Xena, and we were like, we don't want to do a long show right now. Let's do something weird. That might take a little while, but it'll like get us out of our comfort zone. And so, I believe our current beta version of the name is Two Couch Two Madness, which is a return.
Toon Couch Toon Madness.
Toon Couch Toon Madness. TCTM, if you want to be cool. This is a follow-up to Couch Madness, which was the bracket podcast that we did that led to us covering Xena Warrior Princess years ago. Just felt the weight of time on my shoulders. Sorry. And this time we're gonna be covering cartoons, animated series of different types. We're talking anime. We're talking American cartoons. We're talking non-American cartoons. We're talking different genres. We're gonna have multiple brackets, and we'll talk about all of that next time when we lay out the rules and all of the different shows and all of the different brackets, or at least of our first bracket. I think you're gonna say more about this, but like we're kind of doing this one by the seat of our pants. We like have a bracket. We've had gracious Chatz listeners who will be thanking next week for helping us get these brackets set up. We've had tons of recommendations from people of like, and these are going to be shows that are piloted against each other, and whatever wins each bracket will presumably get covered to a greater extent. That's our promise to you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be watching a lot of cartoons.
Yeah. Our first bracket season, Couch Madness. And just so you're aware, every time we're going to do a bracket season, it's going to be Fast and Furious sequel naming rules, which is why it's called Toon Couch Toon Madness. So the next season of Couch Madness will be Couch Madness Tokyo Drift, of course. That'll be pretty great. I forget what I was saying. But the previous time we did it, we sent out like, okay, here's 32 shows we're interested in. We had people fill out a poll, narrow it to 16. We have a bracket of 16, and we do a traditional single elimination bracket. This time around, the format is going to be different. We're going to cover a wider swath of shows. We're going to organize them into groups, and so we'll probably tackle groups of similar animated series. Like Alan was saying, maybe they're of the same genre, or you might have seen them on the same TV programming block or whatever. And eventually that will culminate in, maybe like an 8-show bracket or something like that after a longer, broader kind of winnowing and exploration process. So hopefully it's going to be fun for you to listen to. We're really looking forward to it because we've only ever covered one animated show on the main feed, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
A decade ago.
And we were like, a decade ago. And we're like, maybe we should do some more animated shows. So this is going to be a great chance to see what's out there and what's fun for listeners, what's fun for us. And if you want to get caught up on conversations that have already been happening about this, getting on the Discord, getting on the Patreon, and listening to one of our bonus episodes from last month, you can hear some of our early deliberations about what this season could look like. And then next week, we'll be kind of like cementing that and giving you the schedule to come of what the season's going to look like. So we're excited about that.
This is your chance to go, how could you guys not have included blank? This is your opportunity to tell us that. and then we're gonna spend a good chunk of time covering just only things that y'all have recommended to us or that we've been meaning to cover. It's gonna be a combination of that. So this is a very much, Survivor season 50 is called In the Hands of the Fans. Chat season whatever the fuck we're on 18 is also in the hands of the fans. We're in harmony with Jeff Probst right now. So yeah, next week will be, like you said, more of like here's what it is, here are the rules, and here are the shows, and then from there we will start covering the shows. I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned to Chatz for some animated goodness.
Yeah, and then we'll be back in about a month for the next half season of Star Trek TOS as well. Yeah.
John, where do people find you online?
You can find me on another podcast that I do with my friend Justin called Super Smash Echoes, where we play video games related to the Super Smash Brothers franchise, Super Smash Echoes. Check it out. You can also find me on Bluesky, not-that-magellan.bsky.social, and read some of my writing on Ghost at not-that-magellan.ghost.io. Alan, what about you?
Oh my god, me?
Yeah,
you can catch me up in the steez talking about Pokemon, which is one of my favorite things ever, over on the Creature Quorum, which is a Pokemon podcast on scanlinemedia.com that I host with my friend Six. And right now we're playing through at least two different Kanto games in a Let's Play Game Club format, and the podcast is called the Kanto Tourism Committee. Check it all out at the Creature Quorum or scanlinemedia.com. Otherwise, I'm on Bluesky at Aibrahim, AIBRAHIM, talking about things like how excited I am that the new X-Files reboot is going to have two of my favorite actors from Station 11 starring in it.
They're doing an X-Files reboot?
Oh, yeah. It's been in talks for a long time. I have no idea when it's happening, but it's happening.
Ryan Coogler is attached.
Yeah. It looks great. I just don't want to get too excited because I know how these things go, but it looks great.
All right.
Just from what I've seen. Groovy. I haven't done the plugs in a while. Do you mind if I do it?
You better do it now.
Oh, yeah, baby. You can ask us questions, comments, or concerns. If you have those for us, you can email us chatzpod.gmail.com, chatzpod@gmail.com. We have a Bluesky. If you'd rather get at us there, we're at ChatSpot. You can DM us, ask us if you want to be on the show, give us your feedback. Another place you can give us feedback is on our YouTube channel, where 2 days after the audio version comes out, we put out a less edited visual version on Chatz, the television podcast on YouTube, where you can see our lovely faces and my Xena Warrior Princess shirt, and the IAMS bag that we're not sponsored by, and Magellan's cats, and rings and things and rings, and the Chatz cup. There's so many things to look at on the video version. And Tums. Wow, Magellan, your video version is just your video. Great.
Yeah. I've been needing Tums lately.
You do the jelly one? Yeah, the softer ones.
The chewy kind, yeah.
I like those.
But then they're too fun. It's like
I want 5 of these. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the classic Flintstones vitamins problem. So you can see all that on the YouTube and leave us comments. Like, a lot of people are still leaving Xena Chat's comments, which makes me happy. We just got a Xena Chat's comment 3 days ago. I was like, I'm happy. So check those out. Rate us if you can, please. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Get our algorithm in a good place. People will discover the chats and join our community over on Discord, which you can get access to by asking us in any of those places, or when you become a patron at patreon.com/chatspod. You can donate at $1, $3, or $5 a month and get bonus stuff put into that cup behind Magellan that we do every month on the Patreon. We also hang out and do fun movie commentaries and TV show pilots and discover more things about our friendship. And you can get a special title on your Discord on the Chatz server if you become a patron. $5 a month on the Patreon gets you all those cool things I just told you, and a thank you on the end of every main fade episode of the show. So as of today, thank you to fiance of the podcast Amanda, Arthur, Emily, Emrys, Felicia, Jen, Justin, girlfriend of the podcast Kelly, Kyrie, Lee, Marcus, Magellan's mom, MP, Nick of the Brothers at Infinite War, Noel, Six, and Stefan. Thank you all so much for supporting Chatz. We love you very much. We also love Camilla. She's at Camillastrator on social media. She did our podcast art. Here it is on the video version. Whoopah! It's off and back. That was Camilla. She's great. Camillastrator. Before we go, we have one final segment. It's called Chatzums, like the Vlasic snacking pickle snackums. We have things to recommend for you to snack. Fuck. Just go. Just
You're
tell
doing
me.
great. The snacking pistol is funny to me.
I'll snack your pickle. Snacking piss pickles.
Yuck.
What's 2.5 hours of recording does to us. Fries our brains. Michelle, what are your chatzums for this week, my love?
I've got 3.
Count them 3.
Three chatzums.
Give me.
All right. My first one, this is my Pokemon related chatsum for you this time. This is an Instagram account. The person's name is Tyler Zastro. The handle is DZASTR22. And it's this guy who, this is an example of one of his videos.
I've seen these.
Very deadpan. Yeah, I've sent you these before. He looks in the camera and he goes, it's always ranking all the Pokemon by a certain very specific criterion. So for example, ranking all 1028 Pokemon based on how likely they were to survive a showing of the play Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater on April 14th, 1865, which is, if people don't know, the night that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. And he usually then just explains like the lowest ranking one. So he's like coming in at number 1028, Galarian Weezing, which is the version of Weezing that like has the top hat. And then the video keeps going for like 60 more seconds of him fully explaining the rationale. It slays me every time. So if you like Pokemon and you like very, very narrow casted humor, I would recommend that account on Instagram.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, another one that I have for you, if you like transit and or jazz and or New York City, you should go to trainjazz.com. And trainjazz.com, it essentially gives you this like skeletal map of the NYC subway system with where all the trains are. And every time a train hits a station, it plays a note, and every train has been assigned an instrument in this like jazz ensemble. So you can listen to the jazz tune that the trains are playing. And then you can also like isolate individual trains and read the rationale for like, why did they pick this specific instrument? It's really fun and cool. Wow. Trainjazz.com. And then I have one more for you. This is an app. It's a little word game on your phone. The game part is like okay, but the art of it and the personality of it is amazing. It's called Gubbins, Gubbins, and it's essentially like
oh wait, I played this. Yeah.
It's almost like Bananagrams-esque or like Scrabbly, of like you're trying to make words from letters, but as you're doing that with your little tiles, there are going to be some gubbins, and there's good gubbins, there's bad gubbins, and all the gubbins are they're such fun little creatures with different effects. Mm-hmm. The art style is just so cute and weird and gubbinsy. It's kind of got like a Schoolhouse Rock vibe to some of the character design. So if you're just looking for like a new little word game that's kind of delightful, you could check out Gubbins. Why not?
Okay, I'm interested.
All right, what about you? What are your chatsums?
I have 3 YouTube chatsums.
Okay.
I'm watching a lot of YouTube. Okay, there's a Pokemon one. Let me just get the guy's name right. So I'm playing a lot of Pokemon Champions, which is the like way to play competitive Pokemon right now. Scraw is a competitive like caster and player. Everyone knows Wolfie VGC. I don't need to chat some Wolfie VGC. He's the most famous Pokemon VGC player of all time. Scraw, SKRAW, has a great channel where he like uses it with like a lot of clever graphics and editing. Jacob Scraw is the guy's name. Like explains a lot of competitive Pokemon in a way that like it makes perfect like a lot of sense. Like it's very easy to understand. And he also helped run the Grand Champions Festival, which was the biggest Pokemon tournament of all time, like a week or 2 ago. So it's like thousands of people playing online VGC together. I have even playing Champions, I'm still like, I don't think I'm actually good at VGC. I don't care that I'm in Ultra Ball League, but like, that doesn't mean I'm good. The meta is really small. It's 150 Pokemon in it right now. But like, I watch his stuff and I'm like, I feel smart. And I think it's worth checking his stuff out if you like well edited, easy to understand ways of understanding VGC. And then I have 2 Boston-based Chatzums, kind of. One of them.
Nice.
I have so many tabs open. That's why I'm like really struggling right now. Okay. Matt Ognibene, Ognibene. This is like a legendary algo poll. This guy is a young, I think, engineering student, or he's graduated at this point. He makes short films about the city of Boston and about trying to live in Boston, and they're so well made. He's using live models. He's using beautiful cinematography. He's using paper mache. He's using like cinematic storytelling to do things like, I tried fixing Boston's bike lanes without permission. You're like, what? Why is that video 5 minutes and made me cry? What? Or I built a device to never miss the subway, which is a video about friendship and using a Raspberry Pi to cheat the MBTA. It's fascinating. Or can you outrun Boston's subway, which is a video about running and like trying to be stronger than a machine. They're like short and so well produced. You gotta check it out. All of his videos are good. I think this guy's got potential. Nice. Love that. And then I don't watch a lot of like people go out and eat food content because I just don't need that. But I got my algo got me this channel, Martinez and Moot, and they are 2 guys. I don't know where. I think they're from New York, and they do these like $50 meals in one day thing. It's called Feasting on 50, and their video on Boston is the one that got me in, where they are essentially 2 guys who like eat a lot of food and like talk about food, and they will start in one place in a new city and say you have $50 to eat 3 meals, and you have to take the best meals and take the best pictures of them, and whoever's 3 meals get better, more likes on our Instagram, win the challenge.
Cool. That's fun.
So they just go to different parts of the city, and they like will set challenges. They have games for you. Will love this. They have all these little rules. Like in Boston, they're like, oh, my penalty to you for winning round 1 is now you have to only eat on restaurants that are on the Freedom Trail, or you can only eat on restaurants. You can't use your phone for the next restaurant. You have to find it by asking people. Like really, they're really, really smartly designed, and you have to stay under the $50 limit total. So yeah, I really like it. And I think their channel's good. I think they got the juice. It's well produced stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, YouTube's treated me good this month. Anyways, that's it, folks. That is it for TrekChatz. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Magellan, as always, for being the Spock to my Kirk. I love you dearly, and I love you all dearly for listening. Oh, yeah. That scene where Bones is like, how do I do it? And he's like, just do this. And he's like, that's more painful than anything I've ever experienced. Bye, everyone. Live long and prosper.
Bye. Live long and prosper.